Thousands of schools in the Philippines have stopped in-person classes due to the unbearable heat. In Indonesia, prolonged dry weather has caused rice prices to soar. Temperatures in Thai waters are so high that scientists fear the corals could be destroyed. A historic heat wave is being experienced across Southeast Asia, according to Maximiliano Herrera, a climatologist and weather historian. In updates published on X, he said the heat, which was unprecedented for early April, was recorded at monitoring stations across the region this week, including in Minbu, in central Myanmar, where 44 degrees Celsius was recorded, a first in the climate history of Southeast Asia to reach such high temperatures so early in the month. Hat Yai, in the far south of Thailand, reached 42 degrees Celsius, an all-time record, while Yen Chou in northwest Vietnam reached 46 degrees Celsius, an unprecedented high for this time of year. The latest intense weather follows warnings from the World Meteorological Organization last month that the region was also blighted by severe heat in February, with temperatures often rising to 30 degrees, well above the seasonal average. He attributed the hot weather to man-made climate change, as well as El Niño, which is bringing hotter and drier conditions to the region. The level of heat the globe has experienced over the past 12 months, both on land and in the ocean, has surprised science, said Professor Benjamin Horton, director of the Earth Observatory in Singapore. We always knew we would be moving in this direction with increasing greenhouse gas emissions, but the fact that we are breaking all these records in 2023 and 2024 is perhaps a little ahead of its time. We're just not ready. There are very few, if any, places in the world that are resilient to this type of heat, he said, adding that society needs to adapt. Governments in the region are trying to decide how to respond. In the Philippines, nearly 4,000 schools suspended in-person classes as the heat index in some areas exceeded 42 degrees Celsius, a dangerous level that the Weather Bureau warned could cause heat cramps and exhaustion. During Easter week in Manila, children played in portable pools set up on the streets to keep warm. Our classrooms cannot withstand this kind of weather. We have a ratio of 1 to 60 to 70 students in a classroom that does not have proper ventilation, said Ruby Bernardo, president of the Alliance of Concerned Teachers Act Teachers Union in the National Capital Region. In a recent survey conducted by the union, 90% of teachers said they only have to fans in the classroom to stay warm. Teachers also reported dizziness and headaches, as well as students being unable to concentrate and, in the worst cases, suffering from health problems including nosebleeds. The act has called for the school timetable to be moved back to the pre-pandemic schedule so students are on holidays during the hottest months, which the government is gradually implementing. She also wants to increase investment in hiring teachers and building more climate-resilient classrooms. It's not a long-term solution for them to have to permanently suspend classes or have alternative or flexible learning during the hot season, Bernardo said. Horton said schools and businesses need to find ways to adapt by encouraging people to wear looser, more comfortable clothes and staggering their schedules so people are at work and children are at school earlier or later in the day when temperatures are less intense. Even if we make a hasty choice today to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, we will have to deal with high temperatures for at least 50 years, he said, adding that greater efforts are needed to educate the public about how to wear to stay cool. The extreme heat also caused chaos in agriculture. In Indonesia, which suffered prolonged dry weather last year, President Joko Widodo ordered the military to help farmers plant rice when the rains finally arrived in December. The cost of rice, a staple food for the country's 270 million people, rose more than 16% in February from a year earlier, according to a Reuters report. Lines for government-subsidized rice stretched for hours. In Vietnam, canal water levels were so low earlier this year that farmers in some areas were reportedly having difficulty transporting crops. In Thailand, falling yields will cause farm debt to increase by 8% this year, according to an economic analysis cited by the Bangkok Post. In Malaysia, authorities have deployed cloud seeding in areas affected by lack of rainfall. Governments have issued health warnings advising people to avoid heat stroke, although many workers, especially in sectors such as agriculture or construction, have no choice but to endure the extreme heat. In February, a 22-year-old man died due to heat stroke in Malaysia. The effects of extreme heat are spreading to the region's waters. Thon Tham Rong Nawasat, an associate professor at the Department of Fisheries at Kasetsart University in Thailand, warned on social media this week that El Niño, combined with global warming, risks destroying corals and fish in the Gulf of Thailand. Compared to the beginning of April of the previous year, the water in the eastern part is much hotter. Strangely hot. Even at night the temperature was 31.5 degrees, he said. A trip to the coast of Thailand can soon turn into soaking up the sun and taking a dip in an onsen. That would be a new slogan, he said. He feared that, if the heat lasted another 2 to 3 weeks, coral bleaching could occur. The excessively heated water also threatened the lives of fish in local fish farms and risked creating huge debts for farmers. There are ways to help, including by reducing global warming and mitigating problems, such as marine pollution caused by wastewater. However, we still need to be prepared to cope and adapt to such rare hot water events, he said. Get ready. The real boiling sea has arrived.